Amin. Okay, thank you Afiq. Okay. Boleh start kan tak? Boleh start. Okay, so untuk hari ni kita akan masuk ke subtopic 9.2 which is the formation, the composition of the earth. So kita nak belajar rocks untuk 9.2. The process, the characteristic, the types of rocks. And then for 9.3, we are going to learn about the main processes of the earth. So masa ni awak akan dikenalkan dengan terms of exogenic and also endogenic. Okay, which means exo tu adalah from the outside, while for endo means from the inside. Okay, ingat word sahaja. And for 9.4, we're going to learn about the geohazard phenomenon. Several examples of geohazard and what are we going to do about the geohazards. Okay, kita dah tahu dah, kita dah expect dah tsunami akan berlaku. Kita dah expect dah there is landslide akan berlaku. Jadi apa kita punya preparation, okay, untuk daripada segi nak bersedia for the occurrence of the geohazards. Okay, so teacher akan start sekarang. Okay, this one. Okay, I want you to listen very carefully because at the end of the lesson, teacher akan bagi satu quiz. So teacher akan call out names lah. So minta bersedia bila dipanggil nama untuk bagi respon. Dan jangan left in the middle of the session. Unless awak betul-betul ada masalah ke apa ke, boleh PM untuk bagi tahu kenapa left dekat tengah-tengah jalan tu. Kehadiran teacher akan ambil based on daripada yang awal masuk ni sampailah ke 9.40 nanti. Okay. Okay, so first of all, for subtopic 9.2, we are going to learn about the type and the characteristics of rocks, and also to communicate on how to differentiate the process of rock formation. Okay, so first of all, what you need to know is the earth crust is formed from various types of rocks, okay, which differ in colors, structure, texture, and the way it is formed. Okay, so kita boleh bezakan lah different types of rock ni based on color, macam mana dia punya structure, texture dia, is it smooth, is it hard, and also the way it is formed. So that's why kita nak kena belajar dia punya process, the formation of the rock. So sekiranya from magma or lava, so itu adalah igneous rock. Sekiranya dia undergoes a very higher pressure, so itu adalah metamorphic rock. So macam mana proses dia tu terbentuk tu, itu adalah salah satu cara untuk kita differentiate between these three types of rocks. Okay, so generally, the rocks can be categorized into these three groups. Okay, we have igneous rocks here, sedimentary rocks, and also metamorphic rock. Okay, metamorphic rock. Okay, so each type of these rocks will form differently, and it will take thousands of years to form. And all rocks contain materials known as minerals. So dalam rocks ni mesti ada mineral dia. Okay, yang mineral tu nanti form 3 awak akan belajar lagi. What are the minerals inside metamorphic rock? What are the minerals inside sedimentary rocks? And what are the minerals inside igneous rock? So ini adalah, kalau nak ikut cabang, this is a geology tau. Kan dalam sains kan ada banyak cabang, chemistry, physics, biology. So ini adalah geology, study of earth. Tapi bila masuk ke minerals nanti, kita akan tengok the chemical composition of the minerals. Yang tu dah masuk kepada chemistry pula. Okay, so next, this is the types and the characteristics of rock. Such as for number 1, kat sini we have igneous rocks. So this igneous rock, it formed from the process of cooling and freezing of magma or lava that flows out of the mantle. Okay, so kena ingat lah, sekiranya igneous rocks from magma or lava. And then dia akan dibawa ke atas tau igneous rock ni. Jadi kalau untuk igneous rock, kita tak akan dapat jumpa fossils pun inside the igneous rock. Sebabnya kalau nak jumpa fosil, dia semakin ke bawah kan. So kalau untuk igneous rock ni, dia tidak ke bawah. Dia daripada cooling and freezing of the magma and lava. Jadi bila dia sejuk, dia jadi batu. Batu ni akan ditolak naik ke atas, ke permukaan atas ni, atas bumi ni. So that's why there is no fossils that found in igneous rock. Kalau nak jumpa fosil-fosil ni, carilah dalam metamorphic ataupun sedimentary rock. Especially sedimentary lah. So sedimentary ni from the compression of deposited materials. Okay, so for sedimentary ni, bila dia form from the compression of deposited materials, so banyaklah haiwan mati ke, ada kayu ke, semua dah compressed and deposit masuk dalam tanah. Okay, dia masuk dalam tanah dan dia akan undergoes the process of weathering, erosion to form that rocks. Okay, so it has many layers and will be carried by the rivers, glaciers, and also wind. Okay, so sometimes these sedimentary rocks is hollow and also contains fossils. Okay, that's for sedimentary rock. For the third types and also characteristic of rocks, we have metamorphic rock. So untuk metamorphic rocks ni, it will form when igneous rocks or these sedimentary rocks, sebab tu dia macam satu cycle tau. From igneous boleh jadi metamorphic. From sedimentary also can change form into metamorphic rocks. Daripada metamorphic also boleh jadi igneous dengan sedimentary balik. So dia adalah satu cycle. Okay, so untuk metamorphic ni, it is formed from the igneous and sedimentary when it is exposed to a very high pressure and also temperature. So untuk yang metamorphic ni, dia jauh ke dalam bumi tu. Sebab layers by layers, dia akan undergoes makin tinggi lagi pressure. Okay, so macam tu lah kita jumpa petroleum. Mula dia form from the sedimentation, pokok, haiwan semua tu kan. Dan bila semakin ke bawah, kita tambah lagi dengan pressure. Makin bawah lagi tinggi pressure dia. Makin bawah makin tinggi lagi pressure dia. Sampailah dia form metamorphic rocks. So that's why bila dia undergoes this higher pressure and also temperature, so untuk metamorphic rocks ni, usually it is harder than sedimentary and also igneous rock. Daripada compared to these two, untuk yang metamorphic rocks, dia lagi harder. Okay, the next one is the process of rock formation. So if you can see here, kalau teacher senang nak explain, start daripada magma lah. Okay, the eruption of the volcano. Then when there is flow of magma here, this magma will undergoes crystallization, okay, and also freezing. Okay, examples of igneous rock here is sapphire and also ruby. So dia dibawa naik ke atas, slowly uplift to the surface. So that's why lah, kalau kita nak jumpa fosil, semakin ke bawah kan, ke dalam. So untuk igneous rock, memang tak ada fossils lah dalam igneous rock. Okay, so untuk igneous rock ni, dia diangkat naik ke atas, okay, up to the surface. And when this igneous rock undergoes weathering and erosion, it will also be transport and deposit lagi. So untuk deposition and compression, dia akan membentuk sedimentation. Okay, so this sedimentation akan form sedimentary rock. So examples of sedimentary rocks is opal and also malachite. Okay. Okay, these two are the examples of sedimentary rock. Banyak lagi lah yang lain, contoh yang lain. Okay, and then when the sedimentary rocks undergoes the process of burials and dia dikenakan higher pressure, higher temperature, masuk form many layers lagi ke dalam bumi ni. So yang tu dia akan membentuk metamorphic rock. Okay. Dan metamorphic rock ni boleh form sedimentary pula. Bila metamorphic rock naik ke atas, slowly uplift to the surface, maka dia akan jadi sedimentary rock balik. Okay. So dia adalah satu cycle yang dia boleh from igneous, jadi sedimentary, jadi metamorphic. So how metamorphic rocks is formed into igneous rock? Sekiranya these metamorphic rocks is being melted. Okay, so bila dia melt, bila dia combine with the lava, with the magma, dia akan melt. So dia akan jadilah part of the magma or lava, and then sejuk balik, crystallization and freezing, maka jadilah dia igneous rocks. So from igneous can turn to sedimentary, from sedimentary can turn into metamorphic. Cuma from igneous, dia tak bolehlah direct jadi metamorphic. Dia mesti daripada igneous turns to sedimentary dulu, barulah metamorphic. Tapi metamorphic boleh direct to form sedimentary, metamorphic ke igneous boleh. Okay. Sama juga sedimentary, dia boleh ke metamorphic, tapi dia tak boleh terus pergi ke igneous. Dia mesti undergoes metamorphic dulu, barulah dia boleh change into igneous rocks. Okay, so teacher nak tunjuk kat sini macam mana rock cycle. Okay, tengok ini.
In this video, you will learn about the dynamic rock cycle. The earth is constantly changing. Shake some soil in a jar of water. Sand and small stones settle to the bottom, then a layer of clay, and floating on the top is organic matter called humus. Plant roots help to create new soil from the solid rock, and they get nutrients and support from the soil. This solid rock is often sandstone or granite. They are made up of grains. The granite has interlocking grains like this, but sandstone has rounded grains like this. Weigh each rock and then place it in water. You will see bubbles coming from the sandstone and it gets heavier. No bubbles from the granite and no increase in weight. Why do you think the sandstone made bubbles and gained weight? Pause and think. Well, there are air spaces between the grounded grains, so the water pushes the air out, forming bubbles, making it heavier. The granite has no air spaces. These are the two main types of rock. Granite is formed by molten rock solidifying, and igneous rock, the Latin word meaning fire. Think of the word ignite. But sandstone was made by bits of other rock, carried by rivers to the sea. The bits get smoothed and rounded like the pebbles on a beach. These grains settle on the seabed, forming sedimentary rocks, Latin sedere, to sit. Rocks get broken up by a process called weathering. Pause and think, what sort of weather might break rocks? Mechanical weathering. The heat of the sun expands the rock. It contracts at night, causing it to crack. If water enters and freezes, it will crack more. With water and wind, bits of rock knock into each other, breaking them. Chemical weathering is when rain, which is slightly acidic, dissolves some minerals in the rock. Biological weathering happens as lichens and then the roots of plants grow on the rocks, forcing their grains apart. Weathered rock forms the soil, but it is also eroded. That means transported, either by wind or more usually by water, to the sea. Notice the dark and light-coloured grains in granite. These are minerals, the pure substances that make up rocks. The dark grains are feldspar and the light grains are quartz. After weathering, the grains are carried to the sea where the harder quartz settles, as in a jar of soil, forming sand. The feldspar settles more slowly, forming rich beds of clay containing most of the trace metals plants need to grow. During the movement of the great tectonic plates, See our related video. The rocks get folded and squashed, often ending up high in the air as new mountains form. If rocks are heated and compressed enough, they change their form and are called metamorphic rocks, from the Greek meta, change, and morph, form. From sandstone we get quartzite, and from clay we get first shale, then slate. Sedimentary and metamorphic rocks get weathered and eroded too. Tectonics carry the rocks down into the Earth's hot mantle, where they melt and emerge once again as igneous rocks, completing the rock cycle. We must also mention chalk and limestone, made of calcium carbonate, which are sedimentary rocks formed in the sea from the shells of dead sea creatures. Under heat and pressure, they form the metamorphic rock marble. Another rock formed by living things is coal and the related fossil fuels. Peat is formed as vegetation in bogland is unable to rot. Under the heat and pressure, the peat metamorphizes into coal. So to summarize, molten rock solidifies, forming igneous rock like granite. They get weathered, it's broken apart, then eroded, transported, to form sedimentary rocks like sand and clay. These can get heated and compressed to form metamorphic rocks like shale and slate. The movement of the Earth's tectonic plates carries rocks into the mantle, where they melt to start the cycle all over again.
Alright, that's all. Okay. Nanti awak boleh pergi je cari dekat Fuse School.
My job is to make college.
Okay, dekat Fuse School untuk the rock cycle. Okay. So the rock cycle dia dah explainkan how does these three types of rocks is formed. Okay, cuma ada certain things yang it helps kalau awak hafal dia. Such as just now, mention igneous rocks. Kena ingat perkataan ignites only. So ignites tu dia macam starts a fire. So it comes from the magma and also the lava of the volcano. Jadi itu adalah igneous rock lah. Okay, and then the igneous rock bila dia undergoes weathering and erosion, erosion tu dia dah becomes smaller in pieces. Okay, dia dah jadi kecil-kecil dan it will be easier to be transported away. Then for the sedimentary rocks, it means sedier or sit stills. So maksudnya dia stays je dekat situ as a sediment. Okay, so itu adalah sedimentary rocks. Untuk yang awal-awal layers tu adalah sedimentary, tapi bila goes down to the bottom of the earth part, dia akan jadi metamorphic rocks sebab dia dah undergoes a very higher pressure and temperature. Jadi for the meta means change and morphs means shape. Okay, so that's why lah from the sedimentary they change shape to metamorphic rocks. Then macam mana metamorphic ni combine to form igneous rock balik, dia undergoes the plate tectonics punya teori. So bumi ni dia tidak stay still tau, dia bergerak. Okay, bumi ni dia macam daripada benua Afrika, benua Amerika, benua Asia ni dulunya sebagai satu benua je, satu plate sahaja. So bila dia dah Big Bang teori tu, dia dah beritahu yang it burst, dia dah berpecah kan, dan dia lah kecil-kecil. So bila kecil-kecil part tu, plate tu je dah jadi kecil-kecil dan it will moves. Okay, dah ada movement plate tu dia move. So bila dia makin lama makin aging, dunia ni makin aging, makin bergerak lah plate-plate tu. That's why lah kalau tengok sebenarnya dia dekat-dekat, dia satu plate dan dia dekat-dekat. Tapi bila dia dah bergerak, dia akan jadi that's why lah benua Asia ni jauh je daripada benua Afrika. Itulah movement of the plate. Okay, kalau dekat dekat Arktik, Antartik pun dah bergerak ke atas, bergerak ke bawah. So dia dah jadi satu kawasan yang beza-beza kawasan dia. Dah semakin jauh-jauh. So itu adalah because of the movement of the plate. Okay, the plate tectonics teori kita panggil. Alright, so itu sahaja untuk 9.2. For 9.3, yang ni adalah conclusion from the igneous form when magma or lava cools and harden, freeze and cools. Sedimentary ni forms from the pieces of rocks are pressed and cemented together, and the metamorphic forms from other rocks that are changed by heat and pressure. Okay, so ini adalah conclusion untuk these three types of rocks formation. Okay, itu sahaja untuk 9.2. Alright, for 9.3 is the main processes that occur of the earth. Okay, we have exogenic process and also endogenic process. Okay, for the exogenic process ni, dia adalah process that occurs on earth surface. Exo itself means outer. Okay, kawasan luar. Di kawasan luar ni, as you can see, on the surface lah, dekat dekat gunung, dekat laut, yang kita nampak, yang bahagian luaran dia. Okay, untuk endo sendiri means inside. So yang kita tak nampak lah. So this inside ni from the crust, from the mantles, yang dalam yang kita belajar structure of earth in 9.1 before this. Okay, for the exogenic process, nak tengok one by one. Ada examples of exogenic process here. Number 1, weathering, erosion, transport and sedimentation, and also mass and land depletion. Okay, while for the endogenic process ada 3 examples. Mantle convection process, earth crust movement, and also magma activity. Okay, yang ni so kita tengok satu persatu. Okay, for the first process of exogenic is weathering. So weathering ni, it is a process of rock fragmentation. Okay, berlakunya pemecahan batu, fragmentation of rock. Okay, and also the decomposition or decay due to the changes in temperature, rainwater, frosting, and also because of microorganism. Jadi daripada satu batu besar tu, macam mana dia boleh jadi kecil-kecil because of this fragmentation and also decomposition. Okay, adalah dia punya agent untuk weathering ni. So siapa yang terlibat dalam weathering ni? Temperature. Okay, panas sejuk, malam sejuk, dia akan cracks. Okay, siang panas, dia akan expand balik. Okay, and then bila sejuk balik, dia akan refract balik. Jadi berlakunya changes in the temperature. So that's why dia akan berlaku fragmentation. Okay, number 2, dia punya agent is rainwater. So bila dia crack sikit, there is rainwater. The rain will collect in rock crack. Jadi bila rain ni masuk, dia dah bagi ruang dan peluang untuk rain tu freeze. So bila dia freeze, rain tu, the rainwater tu will become ice. So ice ni bila dia sejuk, bila dia dalam keadaan ice solid, dia akan expand. So bila dia expand je, it will force the cracks to be widened. So jadilah makin makin besar dia punya crack tadi, because of that water. Okay, the rainwater. Okay, and then frosting daripada ice ni, daripada water that freeze. So berlaku frosting. Ice stores, contracts, and water gets deeper into cracks again. Ni bila berlaku frosting, bila dia akan expand, dia akan sejuk crack balik, jadi makes another crack here. So dia dah buat semakin besar dah crack tu. Jadi bila semakin besar, jadi daripada batu yang satu tu dia akan jadi terbelah dua terus. So itulah yang menjadikan dia fragmentation. Dia akan menjadi kepada fragment yang kecil. Okay, daripada satu batu besar. So the repeated expansion and also contraction causes further cracks until the rocks will split. Okay, from one big rocks into two smaller rocks. Okay, microorganism also helps in the process of the weathering. Okay, yang kedua, process of erosion. Okay, erosion is a process of eroding of the earth surface by moving agents such as water, wind, and also waves. So kalau dalam bahasa kita ni, erosion adalah hakisan lah. Okay, dia daripada satu batu besar ni, bila berlaku erosion, Because of this water, setiap kali waves tu sampai, dia macam dia kenakan pressure pada batu tu. Jadi sekeras mana batu pun, bila banyak kali kena by the waves, by the water, by the wind, lama-lama dia akan sejuk, dia akan cracks juga. Okay, dia akan cracks juga. Okay, walaupun kita kata batu ni keras, tapi because of the proses yang repeatedly by the moving agents, lama-lama pecah juga. So daripada saiz yang besar, lama-lama dia akan jadi kecil sahaja parts dia because of the erosion process. Okay, number 3, process exogenic. Number 3 is transport and sedimentation. Okay, so weathered or corroded materials are moved by agents such as running water, wind, waves, and also glaciers. And then the materials will be sedimented when the velocity of the agents decreases. Okay, dia bergerak. Mula-mula sekali dia bergerak. Okay, maksudnya dia being transport. Okay, tapi bila dah slows down, okay, dia punya speeds of the water dah berkurang kan. Kalau tempat yang banyak air, lajulah. Okay, bila sampai ke banyak rintangan, ada pokok, ada apa, dia punya speed, dia punya velocity dah slows down. Jadi lama-lama dia tersangkutlah dekat situ sebagai sediment. Okay, the material sediment when the velocity of the agent decreased. Maka dia tertinggallah ke kawasan sini. So itu adalah transport and sedimentation by the moving agent. So kena ingat what causes the transportation and also sedimentation. Kena ingat moving agent such as running water and also wave. Okay, yang keempat is the mass and land depletion. Yang ni contoh of the land depletion, tanah runtuh kan, landslide. So this mass and land depletion, they involve soil movement from the top of a slope to below as a result of gravitational force. Okay, so ini yang berlakunya bila tak ada yang menghalang kan, dia senang untuk bergerak. So the movement of the soil daripada kawasan atas to the below. Okay, dia jatuh ke bawah. So that's why lah kalau tengok dekat highway sekarang ni, dia dah tanam jaring supaya the movement of the soils is being reduced. Dia susah nak bergerak. Kalau hujan ke apa, licin ke, lagi senang berlaku landslide. So yang mana yang nak memulakan perjalanan musim-musim hujan ni, bila lalu ikut highway, please be careful. Sebab pernah je 1 tahun tu terjadi kereta stuck di belakang landslide ni. Tak boleh nak bergerak ke depan. Terpaksa jalan tutup. Terpaksa sangkut lah dekat sini. Berjam-jam namanya. Sampailah highway ni dah clear daripada landslide ni. So this is because of the exogenic process yang berlaku pada kawasan luar permukaan bumi ni. Okay, so itu untuk exogenic process. For the endogenic process, kita ada 3 examples of endogenic process tadi. It is a process that is caused by force from within the earth. Okay, yang berlaku daripada dalam bumi. Tapi this process, dia forms and they change the earth surface juga. Dia akan effect juga dekat kawasan luar, kat bahagian luar. Okay, so kita nak tengok mantle convection process yang first one ini. So this mantle convection process, it is because of the high temperature in the mantle. Ni kawasan mantle kan. So dalam ni, very high temperature. Okay, core. Ni kawasan core, trust yang bahagian dalam dia. Outer core luas sikit, inner core yang paling dalam. Okay, so mantle ke, core ke, it is very high in temperature. So it will produce convection current in the asthenosphere layer. So these currents are able to move earth crust. So, dia akan menggerakkan earth crust ni. Earth crust ni dekat luar. So adanya convection current. Okay. So dia akan berlaku pergerakan earth crust yang dekat luar. So inilah yang form ridge, trench. Kalau tengok yang berlaku ridge, yang berlaku trench dekat kawasan-kawasan yang Amerika sana. Okay, kawasan Malaysia ni, kita punya muka bumi ni sangat nice lah. Tak berlakulah proses-proses ni. So kalau nak contoh, kat kawasan Arizona, semua kat sana tu sangat obvious lah nampak dia punya kesan daripada mantle convection process. Okay, yang kedua is the earth crust movement. So inilah yang kita panggil the theory of the plate tectonics. According to the theory of the plate tectonics, the earth crust is divided into several pieces of plates. Ini yang kita cakap tadi tu. Ada beberapa plates dah dalam dunia ni. So actually dia daripada satu plate ni dia become several plates, and then these plates ni dia akan move. Okay, so these plates constantly move, and then it will resulting in collision and also divergence. Okay, so bila dia mendekati dia akan berlaku collision. Okay, for example between benua Asia dengan benua Afrika. So sekiranya berlaku movement of the plates kan, dekat sangat dia akan berlaku collision. Tapi bila berlaku collision tu maksudnya dekat kiamat dah lah. Okay, and then bila berlaku collision dia akan menjauhilah balik, akan berlaku divergent balik. So this collision and also divergent, it will produce various landform on Earth and also continental drift. Okay, so itu yang mengakibatkan adanya continental drift and also landforms. Ini contoh dia graben and also horse. Kawasan dia tu semakin tak sekata. Okay, ada kawasan yang tinggi, ada kawasan yang rendah because of the collision and also the divergence of the plate. Okay, the next one is the magma activity. Okay, untuk magma activity, it is the volcano that vent on earth crust that allows molten and hot magma to flow out through it in a strong eruption. And then the erupted materials accumulate around the slope of the vent and form volcanic cones. Okay, ni pun berlaku daripada area dalam earth tu. Okay, inside the earth. Tapi dia resulting sampailah ke surface dekat luar. So this molten and hot magma flows. Dia naik sampai ke puncak atas, cukup masa tempoh matang dia akan burst, dia akan berlaku eruption, dia akan memuntahkan lava-lava dia tu keluar. So yang keluar tu adalah erupted materials. So dia akan form the volcanic cones. Okay, so itu untuk exogenic dengan endogenic process. So this exogenic and endogenic process, it will brings us to the geohazard phenomena, which is in subtopic 9.4. Okay, so dan kita dah belajar tadi exogenic dengan endogenic process. There is the consequences of the endogenic process. Okay, the consequences of the endogenic process akan brings to the geohazard phenomena, such as number one is volcanism. Berlaku dulu proses inside of the earth. Okay, so apa yang berlaku dekat surface dia sebagai geohazard phenomena, berlakulah volcanism. Okay, and also earthquake. So this earthquake ni mungkin daripada movement of the tectonic plates tadi, bila berlaku collision maka berlakulah earthquake. Tengok berapa banyak yang dia rosakkan rumah-rumah, bangunan because of this earthquakes. Okay, number 3, berlaku tsunami juga. Okay. Semua because of the endogenic process. Kalau exogenic process memang kita dah nampak daripada luar sahaja efek dia. Tapi endogenic ni yang kita tak nampak berlaku inside of the earth, lepas tu dia efek dia pada kawasan luar, pada surfaces of the earth. Tsunami and also landslide. Endogenic juga tadi. Sinkhole, lubang besar ni and also global warming. Okay, quicksand. Quicksand usually occurs in wetlands. Ni dia sedut, okay, pasir sedut ni awak berjalan awak tak sedar, that's why kena ada satu warning untuk hazard ni, geohazard ni. Sekiranya kita tak tahu, nanti dia akan sedut the process of the maybe gravitism yang terlalu kuat kat kawasan situ, dia akan tarik kita sampai ke dalam. Tapi kita tak nampak because covered by the quicksand. Okay, seterusnya acid rain. Acid rain also geohazard. Okay, phenomena of geohazard yang berlaku usually in industrial area. So this acid rain ni biasanya dia memanglah dia adalah interaction between the natural substances. Tapi what cause the natural substances tu daripada factory yang keluarkan acidic substance, masuk dalam acid, masuk dalam rainwater, seterusnya akan turun as a acid rain. Okay. Okay, tapi all those geohazards, it can be minimized, can be reduced. Nak kata halang tak boleh lah kan, sebab dia adalah memang perkara hak natural berlaku. Jadi kita sebagai saintis dalam bidang sains dan teknologi pun memang kita dah prepare several devices ataupun apparatus yang kita boleh guna untuk reducekan risiko dia tu. Such as number one is sensor system. So this sensor system ni dia ada alarms acoustic sensor. Okay, dia dilengkapi dengan alarm, ada transducer. So dia diletakkan on the slope of hills to give early warning of landslide. Okay, kat kawasan-kawasan yang tebing-tebing yang curam yang sini ni untuk prepare landslide. So sekiranya berlaku the movement of the soil, dia nak turun dah ke bawah sini kan, so alarms ni akan bunyi lah, dia akan bagi warning. So sempatlah ambil apa-apa precaution steps untuk prevent lagi. Okay, untuk sensor system for the landslide. We also have tsunami warning system, TWS. So this tsunami warning system is placed at the shoreline to give early warning via satellite. Okay, ni dekat kawasan laut. Sekiranya ada gegaran sikit je, dia boleh warning terus. So, terus sampai kepada HQ yang control lah. Okay, dia bagi warning tu melalui satellite. The GPS satellite akan hantar data kepada land station. So boleh warning about tsunami, boleh berpindah awal-awal dah. Siapa yang kawasan dekat dengan laut, kat pantai ni, boleh bergerak awal, mengurangkan kemusnahan lah daripada tsunami. And also we have earthquake detector. So this earthquake detector untuk detect earthquake lah. Dia sebagai warning system juga. Ada alarm juga kat sini. So ini pun dia akan measures gegaran juga. So berlaku gegaran yang maybe scale dia kecil je, dia okay lagi, dia boleh handle lagi. Tapi if berlaku dalam scale yang sangat besar, maka akan warning lah, akan keluarlah satu alarm. So dia akan minta lah yang kawasan rumah ni akan keluar daripada kawasan earthquake tadi. Alright, so quiz time. Itu sahaja untuk 3 subtopik hari ni. So for the quiz time, I would like, teacher nak panggil nama ni. Jadi yang memberi jawapan akan disertakan bersama dengan markah ekstra. Okay, question number 1. Why are metamorphic rocks harder than igneous rocks and also sedimentary rocks? Boleh tak teacher nak minta Adlin Azurin jawab soalan 1. Adlin Azurin.
Yes, teacher.
Question number 1. So kalau ada yang left, apa dia? Sekejap. Kalau ada yang left masa ni, memang dia tak ambil lah kehadiran dia, memang tak dikira sebagai hadir lah kalau left masa-masa ni. Tanya soalan je, hilang terus. Okay, Adlin, question 1. Question 2, what are exogenic and endogenic process? So ini nyatakan je apa process of the exogenic and apa proses untuk endogenic. Yang ni saya minta Adriana Suhada. Bawa Adlin, Adriana. Adriana Suhada. Untuk exogenic and endogenic process, just now kita dah mention dah satu per satu. So mungkin Adriana ni dia ambil masa nak balik buku ke apa ke. Kita terus ke question number 3. 3 soalan dah setakat ni. Tak ada lagi orang jawab ni. Kalau nak extra marks untuk for your final exam, lagi baguslah masa ni untuk awak involve kan. Participate dalam kelas activity. Number 3, what are the agents that causing erosion? Afiq Daniel.
Yes, teacher.
Number 3.
Water, wind and wave.
Okay, erosion tadi. Erosion dia dalam, okay, tengok balik. Erosion dia dalam 9.3 yang ni. So the agents are water, wind and waves. Okay, tahniah Afiq Daniel. Okay, seterusnya. Adlin, nak jawab dah ke Adlin? Nak balik ke soalan 1 balik? Adlin? Sama Adlin mikir. Adriana.
Yes, teacher.
Dah ada jawapan dah ke Adlin?
Ada.
Okay, proceed lah. Jawapan awak apa?
Because it has gone many process.
Okay, what are the processes yang metamorphic rocks ni lebihnya daripada igneous and also sedimentary rocks? Tadi pun dah mention kan tadi. Kenapa igneous rocks ni lagi ni mana soalan tadi? Kenapa metamorphic rocks yang ada? Ni metamorphic rocks ni yang lebihnya metamorphic from igneous and sedimentary. Proses apa yang dia undergoes? Kenapa dia ada from igneous and also sedimentary? Adlin, kau nak tengok gambar sini. Gambar sini pun lagi mengexplainkan why this metamorphic rocks is harder than sedimentary and also igneous rocks. Adlin, can you repeat the answer please? Adlin, Allahu Akbar. Adriana pun dah hilang dah. Tak ada suara langsung dah ni. Azraf Darwish yang left dah. Siap-siap dah left. Adriana and Adlin. Okay, mungkin teacher akan panggil orang lain untuk ganti Adriana dengan Adlin ni. Tak ada markah extra lah diberi. Soalnya respons tak ada. Jawapan kurang. Afiq Afnan. Tadi Afiq Daniel kan? Okay, Afiq Afnan untuk soalan 1. And Aiman Hakim untuk soalan 2. Afiq Afnan. Ya, Adlin. Panggil. Tubik meta-meta. Ya. Ya, tu je. Sepatah je cakap.
Line problem tadi.
Okay, so awak nak teruskan nombor 1 ni? Okay, bagi tahu balik jawapan dia.
Metamorphic rocks are almost always harder than sedimentary because they have gone many process.
Many process tu tak jelas. Kena mention. Because it undergoes very high temperature and also pressures compared to sedimentary rocks and also igneous rock. Kena bagi tahu dia dah undergoes the process of burial, high temperatures and pressure. So bila kita kenakan high temperature, bila kita kenakan high pressure, so that makes the materials becomes harder. Kalau untuk diamond kan, lagi tinggi pressure yang kita kenakan. So that's why lah diamond is very hard. Even tak ada satu pun yang boleh potong diamond tu, melainkan diamond tu sendiri. Carbon digunakan untuk memotong diamond tu. Sebab dia dah melalui pressure and also temperature yang sangat-sangat high. Okay, tu keyword dia. Okay, soalan yang kedua tadi, Adriana masih nak menjawab ke Adriana? Tak ada respon langsung ni. Saya tak tahulah apa jadi pada Adriana ni. Dengar ke tak dengar ke? Nak tarik pun boleh kalau malu nak bercakap. Mic rosak pun boleh mention, boleh inform. Tapi tak ada respon juga. Okay, kita teruskan kepada Aiman Hakim. Soalan yang kedua tadi. Aiman?
Teacher, boleh tunjuk balik soalan?
Soalan balik. Okay. Soalan, what are exogenic and endogenic processes?
Exogenic is process.
Dia adalah definition untuk okay, apa tu exogenic process? Apa definition dia? Proses yang berlaku dekat mana? Endogenic process. Apa tu process of endogenic? Berlaku dekat mana? Contoh, kalau nak bagi contoh sekali lagi better lah. Aiman? Mana Aiman? Hilang dah ke Aiman? Aiman?
Exogenic process is
Apa maksud exo tu? Exo sendiri. Kan teacher dah mention tadi. Exo tu is from the outside area. Kalau endo means inside, dalam. Kalau jumpa exo dengan endo mana-mana pun, inilah maksud dia. Nanti awak akan jumpa lagi endoskeleton. Tulang dalam. Exoskeleton. Tulang luar. Cepat Aiman. Definition sahaja ni. Dia bukannya nak list of process. Dia nak definition sahaja. For the exogenic process and endogenic process. Do you have your textbook with you? Maksudnya bila kelas je, kena ready dengan textbook juga. Supaya kita boleh tahu teacher ni tengah cakap yang mana sebenarnya. Teacher ni tengah explain yang mana sebenarnya. So belek sekali dengan teacher. Bukannya tengok je screen tu satu mata. Aiman tak nak extra marks ni. Teacher panggil orang lain Aira Simia. Aira ada tak?
Ada.
Okay Aira. Boleh ganti tempat Aiman.
Exogenic process is the process that occurs on Earth's surface.
Yes.
Endogenic process The process that is caused by forces from within the earth, forms and change the earth's surface.
Kan, awak tengok je buku teks page 264 and 263. For the endogenic process, it is the process that is caused from within the earth. Maksudnya dalam earth tu, inside of the earth. So itu adalah proses yang berlaku kawasan dalam, tapi macam-macam mana pun dia akan efek jugalah kat kawasan luar kan. Tapi untuk exogenic process tu memang proses that occurs on the surface, on the earth surface, kat kawasan luar, pada permukaan. Permukaan ni maksudnya luar lah. Okay, bukan within. Within means dalam. Okay, number 3 dah. Agent that causing the erosion just now. Number 4, what is plate tectonics theory? Jumpa tadi dalam endogenic process juga yang kedua tu. The plate tectonics theory. Can I have, daripada bawah lah pula. Di bawah I have Sophia Adlina. Sophia Adlina, number 4. Number 5, list 3 examples of geohazards. Sophia Adlina ni ada ke hari ni? Sophia Adlina. Adlina? Dia cuba tak boleh hilau mesej-mesej, tak pasal dah. Ada. Lepas tu boleh cakap ke tak? Oh, Sophia Adlina. Boleh cakap ke tak? Type lah mesej tu. Okay, kalau ada, teacher nak suruh awak jawab soalan number 4. What is plate tectonics theory? Maksudnya awak kena explain kan. Oh, tiba pula rosak. Okay, kena explain kan the plate tectonics theory. So, kalau you nak type pun boleh. Proceed lah, type. Teacher noted je kat sini. Boleh tengok soal lagi. Message. Okay, well, for number 5, teacher nak 3 examples of geohazards. Senang sangat. Atas pada Adlina, we have Safwan. Okay, Safwan ada ke ni? Safwan.
Ada.
Okay, Safwan, 3 examples of geohazards. Awak nak fikir dulu ke? Nak bagi tahu terus jawapan?
Bagi terus jawapan.
Okay. Proceed.
Tsunami,
Okay.
global warming, dengan
Volcanism. Maksud volcanism ni proses yang berlakunya volcano lah. Cuma itu adalah satu proses. Sebab tu nama dia ada zem belakang itu. Volcanism, mutualism, itu adalah satu proses. Okay, so besides volcanism, global warming and tsunami, we also have landslide, sinkhole, earthquake, dan selain tu quicksand and also acid rain. Banyaklah kan. Cuma tu nak 3 example sahaja. And number 6, last one, state 2 devices invented by scientists to predict the occurrence of geohazards. So mana-mana daripada 3 tadi dah tunjuk, mention je 2. And then bagi tahu untuk predict which geohazards is yang awak nak mention tu. Okay, Faris. Faris, ada ke Faris?
Ada.
Okay, Faris number 6. Nak nama device sahaja. 2 devices invented. Okay, sementara Faris nak fikir dulu jawapan dia, sementara nak cari nama ataupun baru nak pergi invent yang baru, kita balik kepada Sophia Adlina balik. Sophia Adlina number 4 tadi kan, plate tectonics theory. Type ke? Kalau type tak puas nanti. Sophia Adlina. Adlina. Oh, Adlina tak ada lagi ni dekat message ni. Okay, Adlina, kalau nak extra mark, this is the time. Lambat lagi, kita balik kepada number 6 balik. Faris?
sekejap teacher.
Dalam buku teks ada. Tapi besides yang diberi tu, ada tiga yang bagi tadi. Okay, banyak lagi so kalau boleh cuba awak fikir apa lagi. The other inventions, okay, made by scientists to predict or to provide early warnings, okay, early signs of geohazards. Mungkin benda-benda yang biasa je. Untuk banjir ni ada tak? Dia adalah geohazards juga. Ada tak alat yang digunakan untuk detect, untuk bagi warning? Ataupun apa lagi geohazards macam acid rain ke, quicksand ke, ataupun global warming ke, volcanism ke, ada tak alat-alat lain yang digunakan? Cepat Faris. Okey, Sofia Adlina tadi since tak ada jawapan lagi daripada dia, markah pun takkan diberi sebagai extra marks. Teacher nak pilih.
Teacher.
Ya. Apa dia? Ada. Okey. Pergi kat chat balik. Okey, ada pun kat sini. Baru sampai. Okay, plate tectonics theory is earth crust that is divided into several plates. Betul. So these plates always move due to collision and divergence that produce various landforms and continental drift. Okay, inilah yang tadi tu. Ni. Okay, endogenic process yang kedua. The earth crust movement. Kita nak meng-explainkan about earth crust movement. So betul lah ni. Mula aku kena mention dulu, earth crust is divided into several pieces of plate. And then the movement of the plate because of the collision and also divergence. So the results dia akan form landforms and also continental drift. Okay, thank you Sofia Adlina. Okay, last one tadi. Yang ke soalan apa tadi? Device. Faris. If you still here. Nampak nama?
Tsunami warning system and inclinometer.
Oh, okay. Tsunami warning system tu sebab kita nak warning about tsunami. Satu lagi tu apa? Apa satu lagi?
Inclinometer.
Untuk detect apa tu? Kena mention lah sekali.
Detect landslide.
Untuk detect landslide. Yang ni. Oh, apa nama dia? Inclinometer. Awak search dulu ke? Kalau mention ni pun tak apa dah. Sensor system. Dia satu device juga kan? Untuk bagi early warnings of landslide. Tsunami warning system. TWS. Untuk bagi warning lah. About tsunami. And also number 3. Earthquake detector. Okay, as an earthquake warning system. Jadi, untuk hari ni, itu saja yang kita belajar. Kita dah masuk 9.2, 9.3, 9.4. So, untuk minggu depan, kita akan masuk 9.5 and 9.6 terus. Age of Earth, ada fossils. And 9.6 tu, just Earth resources and applied geology. Mungkin yang ni teacher suruh baca je lah kot. Ada bagi video sikit, baca. Dan second class for next week, teacher akan buat quiz untuk chapter 9 and also chapter 8. Jadi, masa sejam untuk minggu depan tu, itu adalah kelas last kita sebelum penerapan Minda 3 yang 5 hari bulan. Jadi, minggu depan second class dah. Minggu depan second class, tolong bear in mind, tolong simpan. Akan ada quiz. Okay, quiz untuk 2 bab, untuk 2 chapter. Jadi betul-betul sejam tu minta awak jawab kuis pada masa tu juga. Pada masa ni lah minggu depan ni. 8.40 hingga 9.40. Okay, mungkin 30 soalan untuk chapter 8. 30 soalan untuk chapter 9. 30 soalan 1 minit. Sejam cukup. Okay, teacher akan ambil markah tu untuk masuk awak punya markah PBD. Untuk chapter 8 kena ada markah. Untuk chapter 9 pun kena ada markah juga. Okay. So itu sahaja untuk hari ni. Ada soalan? Okey, kalau tak ada soalan, kita tutup majlis kita dengan surah Al-Asr tasbih kafarah. Okey, baca doa. Tadi yang baca doa Afiq, Afnan. Afiq nak baca doa balik? Okey.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal 'asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. Illa allazina amanu wa amilus solihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr.
Amin. Alright, thank you class.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you, teacher.
Okay.
Thank you, je.
Okay.